Hello. Thanks for being really early. Hello. Hello, welcome. Thanks for being super early. Okay, not super early, just 5 minutes early. But anyway, this session is going to be quite casual. Hello. If you have any questions already, please feel free to drop them down in the Q&A or chat. Yeah. Can you all hear me? Okay. Okay, maybe let me just introduce myself first. I'm Ethan, account manager from Amazon Global Selling. So I believe I'm like probably some of your account manager. But anyway, my team is based in Singapore, so you don't have to worry about the time zone issue. And we support sellers from rest of Southeast Asia to sell in the Amazon North America marketplace, which also include Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, and Amazon.mx. But we focus primarily on the Amazon US marketplace, which is Amazon.com. So if you are here wanting to ask about Amazon.sg, then this is not the right place. But anyway, my team provide account management support and to help sellers like yourself to scale your business in 2022. So if you have already listed your product and launched in 2021, then we won't be able to support you. But if you have launched in 2022, then you should be assigned to one of the account manager. Okay, let me just answer some of the questions coming from you that are in the Excel sheet. I believe like some of the questions noted down in the Q&A are also some of the questions that you have asked in the Excel sheet. So maybe I can start with Charlene first. Okay, let me just hit on to the page. Okay, my listing is flagged for dangerous goods. I have already submitted an exemption sheet, but it bounced back. I have no idea what went wrong. Okay, so the documents might be slightly different depending on which dangerous goods you are getting exemption for. I would highly recommend you to email the document as well as screenshot the requirements to your and send it to the account manager so that we'll be able to help you to check in detail. Yeah, I would advise that. Please send it to the account manager and we'll help you to check. Yeah. Okay, then Jason, you're asking about user ID. So basically, if you're on professional selling account, you have access to this tool called user permissions on Seller Central. So you'll be able to add secondary user and give them access to limited tools depending on what you want to give. So in essence, yes, you don't have to create a new user ID, but you just have to put in additional secondary email addresses in the user permission page, and you'll be able to grant access to more than one user for the Seller Central account. Let me send you the link for that. Okay, let me reply to your question with the link and the guide. Yeah. Okay, so Pristina Lucky, I have a question regarding the deposit method. Can you explain more? Since I'm an Indonesian seller, I don't have an American bank account. Okay, so in order to sell on Amazon.com, you must be able to receive US currency. So maybe you can check in with your Indonesian bank whether you are able to set an account out that can accept a US currency, essentially. Because the deposit method, essentially we need your deposit method for us to like make payments to you as well as for you to like make payments for any cost or expenditure for Amazon. Yeah, you will need an account that can accept US currency. Yeah, Cecile, I started listing yesterday. However, since we haven't enrolled in brand registry and trademark in the US, can we register it under generic brand for now? Will this be okay? Can we have brand registry once our US trademark release? Okay, so firstly, I do not advise you to start listing under generic, because let's say after you do run FBA and etc., it might be hard to change the brand name attribute back to your original brand name. So actually, just make sure once your US trademark is being filed, once it's being filed, it's considered a pending trademark, and you'll be able to start enrolling into brand registry. So after enrolling into brand registry, then I'll recommend you to start your listing. Yeah. Maybe let me share with you guys a slide from the webinar earlier on. So essentially, as you can see, you should enroll. The most optimal time to enroll into brand registry is before your listing, because your ASINs would not be affected. But however, if let's say you already started to list and you haven't done your FBA, you might have to release your ASIN in order to update the brand name attribute. And worse, let's say if you have already sent in your FBA shipment, you'll need to raise cases with seller support to get them to help you make amendment to the brand name. And your product and packaging must have your brand name affixed onto it. If not, you won't be able to list your listing under your own brand name. So the best time to actually enroll is before listing. And I would advise you to start listing with your brand name instead of under generic. Yeah. So it's additional user permission we can use in one local network. By right, yes. After you have granted user permission to additional user, you should be able to do that. In fact, like if they are from in different IP addresses, it will still be okay, as long as you have granted them the user permission. Because we do not advise you to share your master account selling credential with other people, then that will be troublesome. Yeah. So it's okay if you add additional user permission. Okay. What should I do if my products do not have, I believe, GTIN, UPC, EAN, and how do I register my brand name so that listing can be published under my brand name? Okay, so let me quickly show you this guide that we have. Hold on. Okay, this one. So I'll just briefly go through the whole process of listing a product. So let's say if you're intending to list under a brand name, if you have a trademark, you'll need to enroll into brand registry first. Otherwise, if you do not have a trademark, you can actually get a brand name exemption if your brand name is permanently affixed on your product and or packaging. That means it cannot be like a sticker. It must be permanently affixed. And you'll be able to do so by raising a case with seller support after you check for your brand name eligibility. So after that, after you start that, after you create your listing, you'll need to check whether your product requires additional approval. This means whether it's in a restricted category. So there are a few categories that if you wish to sell in US, you may need to get additional approval due to like the laws and regulation in the US. So you can actually check the full list by clicking into the help page and the relevant documents you need to submit. So let's say if it doesn't require additional approval, you may start listing. So once you start listing, they'll ask you whether you have like a manufacturer barcode. So if you do not have one, you can actually apply for GTIN exemption. There's the guide over here and where you can apply. So after this call, we'll be sharing with you the listing guide, so don't worry. Just head on to this guide and follow it step by step according to your situation. So over here, as you can see, they'll teach you how to apply for a GTIN exemption and what you need to prepare and the steps to do so. What is the prerequisite in enrolling into Amazon Brand Registry? Hold on. Eligibility. Okay, so to be eligible to get enrolled into brand registry, so firstly, you need to make sure that your trademark is in the accepted trademark offices. So it can be US, Brazil, Singapore, etc. All the countries that you can see over here, it should be eligible. But something to take note is, let's say if you wish to get your brand protected in the US, you will need a US trademark. So let's say if you enroll into brand registry with a Singapore trademark for Amazon.com, you can get access to A+ content, all the brand building tools. However, your brand would not be protected. With this, I mean that let's say if you find a counterfeit for your product in Amazon.com, you won't be able to report that as a violation or a counterfeit. So highly recommend you to get a US trademark if you haven't already done so, if you wish to protect your brand in the long run. Yeah. Hope that answers your question. And I see more people coming in. Maybe let me quickly reintroduce again myself. Anyway, I'm Ethan, account manager in Amazon Global Selling. So we actually help sellers like yourself sell into the North American marketplace, which includes like US, Canada, and Mexico. So we only provide account management support to sellers that have launched in 2021. Yeah. So let me go through some of the other questions from others that are here. Let me see. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, just feel free to just drop them down in chat box and Q&A. Then I'll get to that in a bit. Or we have like a few people from Amazon here who will be able to help answer the chat box and Q&A questions. Let me see. Elizabeth, I see that you have some question on product listing and logistic. Maybe you can ask your question with more context so that I'll be able to give you like a better answer. Okay, so someone asked about how there are a few people asking about listing, right? So I've actually gone through the steps as to how you can start listing. So just follow the step-by-step guide and you should be able to start and create your listing. There are a few common FAQs in the guide as well, and we'll be sharing this guide after the call, so don't worry if you missed it. Let me see other questions. Selling in the US market. Yeah, let me see. Please. Am I exempted from USA tax as a foreign third-party seller? Are you the individual seller or are you selling on behalf of a business entity? Let's say if you have a business entity, you have a company, you need to pay tax for your business. But however, let's say if you're an individual seller, there's no direct tax that you have to pay. Yeah. Because Amazon actually has this thing called Marketplace Facilitator tax. So we help to collect tax and it's being absorbed by the consumer, not the seller. I will share the link in the chat box. Let me get it. Okay, let me see some of the other questions. How to start selling on Amazon Singapore. So like I mentioned, right, our team only manages the North America marketplace. If you wish to sell on Amazon.sg, you need to contact the Singapore team. However, let's say if you already have a seller account, right, which most of you should have, how you can actually create a Singapore account, you can actually log into Seller Central, click on to I think inventory or manage inventory, then there will be this sell globally tab. So once you click into that, you'll be able to choose to register for Amazon.sg account. Let me write down the steps. Okay, let me just move on to the Q&A box. If I missed any of your questions, just feel free to just bump them up or write it in Q&A. Then I will answer it. Okay. What are the required fees in brand registry? Okay, there are no fees that you have to pay in order to get the benefits and tools for brand registry in general. But something to note is that, let's say if you want to enroll in brand registry, if you want to secure your US trademark, typically the cost is about 1,250 for each classification. Yeah. So for brand registry for now, the only program that you have to pay additional for would be the Vine program, which is a program that allows you to get reach out to Vine reviewers or Vine voices that will be able to help you generate reviews for your product listing. So the cost for that will be $200 per parent ASIN enrolled. However, currently we do have this program called New Seller Incentive. So let's say if you're already enrolled into brand registry, you'll be able to redeem credits for Vine program, $200 credits from 15 April onwards. Yeah, let me quickly show you guys the website for that. Yeah, so you get $200 credit. Let me share this in the chat box as well. New seller incentive program. I have a product listing in Singapore. How do I list it on US market? So there is this tool called Build International Listing on Seller Central. You can type that in via the search bar, and from there you'll be able to create similar offer in the US market. If you are still unsure, do reach out to the account manager. Yeah. What is the maximum number of units per carton? So I believe that you're asking about how many units you can send into FBA. If you're asking about that, then there's no maximum number of units you can send. Yeah. But the default for new sellers is actually, the default inventory limit for new sellers is 3,000, but we don't have a maximum number of units you can fit in per carton. As long as you don't exceed the inventory limit, and let's say if you wish to send a pallet, then the pallet should not exceed 500 kg. Yeah, maybe let me send to you FBA guide. In there, there's like packaging and preparation links so that you can have a look if you are preparing for your FBA shipment. I hope that answers your question. If not, you can ask a follow-up question as well. When I tried to send inventory to Amazon, I was told that my listing needs to be changed from manufacturer barcode to Amazon barcode. So I followed instruction and added new condition to create listing to change to Amazon barcode. But this product was flagged for dangerous goods. Oh, okay. So, okay, if you wish to send in inventory to Amazon, so usually these steps comes in after you have created your listing. So if you have created your listing, usually sellers will leave with their own manufacturer barcode. Then after listing has been created, Amazon barcode will automatically be generated, which is called a FNSKU. So let's say if you wish to send inventory to Amazon, right? Typically, you'll need to stick like the FNSKU barcode onto your product in order to ship it in. Yeah, you don't have to create a new listing with the Amazon barcode. Yeah, if this is not clear, I would highly recommend you to just reach out to the account manager. If you don't know who's your account manager, you can put down your email and we will get back to you. Yeah. How is FBA USA same as Singapore? So in essence, the benefits of FBA is about the same, where FBA will be able to, let's say if you send your inventory into fulfillment by Amazon, which is our fulfillment center, they will help you to pick, pack, and ship, handle customer services, and all the return and exchanges. So in this sense, it's exactly the same. However, if let's say USA FBA, right, our fulfillment center will be based in US, whereas for Singapore, let's say if you sell on Amazon.sg, the fulfillment center will be based in Singapore. That's the difference. But otherwise, the steps to send in your shipment as well as what you get for enrolling into FBA is pretty much the same. Okay, we ship stock to one Amazon warehouse or Amazon will assign to multiple warehouse. So for this, right, it depends on the type of product you send in, and it also depends on the amount of product you send in. Typically, Amazon will generate one address for you to send in. However, let's say if you send in multiple products and different category, right, you might be assigned to 2 to 3 additional warehouse that you have to send to. Let me just share with you this guide quickly. Yeah. So by default, it may be divided to multiple shipment, which you have to send to. However, let's say if you experience that, and ultimately, if you really just want to send to one fulfillment center because it's just convenient for you administrative wise, you can sign up for inventory placement service and just send to one fulfillment center. And once it arrives, Amazon will help you split to the relevant fulfillment center. But a per item service fee will apply for that. Yeah. I hope that answers your question. Let me send you this link as well. But usually, from my experience, most new seller will only have to send stocks to one fulfillment center. Yeah. Typically, the best way to calculate the weight of your carton, I would highly recommend you to just put your carton on a weighing machine. Yeah, instead of using a generic formula, which might not be accurate. Yeah. Is FBA the same as USA in terms of labeling? Yes, this is generic. I have shared this guide in the chat box, so feel free to look at that. There are like prepping and packaging guidance over there for you. Yeah. Are there any additional requirements if you are sending vitamins or supplements? Yes. If you are actually selling like food related or supplements, this is actually under a restricted category, so you'll need to get a FDA cert. Let me quickly show you the page. Yeah. So I'll share this link, dietary and supplement. So in our listing guide, right, before you start listing, there's also like a tool for you to check whether it requires additional listing approval. So once you click this, it actually leads you to the restricted product page where you can click onto the relevant category you are selling in to check what are the documents required. Understand that Amazon have partnered courier. How does this work? So if you are referring to, let's say, engaging a service provider to send in your shipment into our fulfillment center, right? We actually do have this service provider network. Okay, let me just share it again. Okay, so if you have a Seller Central account, you'll be able to access this. So let's say if you are based in Singapore, you want to send in to US, then you can click international shipping, search. Then over here, you'll be able to have access to all the partnered couriers that we have. Let's say if you wish to ship to our fulfillment center. Yeah, all these logistic carriers should be familiar with the FBA process, and because they are accredited by us, right? They are listed under the service provider network. Let me send to you this link as well. Or you can search. It says I'm auto-enrolled into Subscribe and Save, but I don't see any of my ASINs under the program. How do I join? Do you have active inventory in FBA? Are you a brand owner? If you are still having issues with Subscribe and Save, I will recommend you to reach out to your account manager so that they'll be able to help you escalate. By right, if you have an active FBA inventory or if you are a brand owner, you should be able to enroll into Subscribe and Save. For the $200 Vine coupon, you do not need to enroll because it's automatically enrolled if you are a new seller this year and if you have been enrolled into brand registry this year. Yeah, it's automatically enrolled, and in terms of like the credits, the $200 credits, you'll be able to redeem after 15 April. There is this page. Let me share it. Called New Seller Incentives. So it shows you your eligibility criteria for all the promotions under this program and a lot of the common FAQs and terms and conditions. So you can have a look at that. Yeah. Yes. Okay, I see that Tom, you keep getting flagged for your weight of carton issue. I would highly recommend you to go back to your listing, make sure that your item dimension is accurate. So your item dimension should be your package dimension. So make sure it's accurate, because sometimes when you create your shipment, sellers will receive error message that says that your dimension is wrong. So most likely is in your listing, right? Your item dimension, you did not input the correct one, which is why if it doesn't match match with the shipment plan, then you'll flag out an error. Yeah. How do I get paid for goods sold on Amazon US? So as long as you have a US bank account, just include that in your deposit account method, and you'll be able to receive the revenue that you have earned. I created a shell listing before I had my brand approval. Therefore, the listing is generic. How do I change this to approved brand? Okay, so if you have created under generic, right? Have you sent in your stocks to FBA? If you have already sent in your inventory to FBA, I would highly recommend you to raise a case with seller partner support. Send them your product showing your brand name. Let them know that you have already enrolled into Amazon Brand Registry, so that they'll be able to help amend that. However, let's say if you have not sent your product into FBA yet, to make things simple, I will highly recommend you to release with the correct brand name. Yeah. These couriers can send products from China to US Amazon warehouse. Yes. So let's say if you are shipping from China, right? So when you filter by the service providers available, you might want to put China, then USA, international shipping, then you search. It shows you all the available logistic providers that are based in China that will be able to help pick up your inventory from your manufacturer or supplier warehouse and ship it to Amazon warehouse. Yeah. They will quote you based on the amount of product they help you send and etc. So just reach out to them. When creating a shipment plan, there's a part where it is auto-selected depending on your carton size, normal and oversized. Is there much of a difference with storage fee? Okay, so for this, let me quickly go through the Amazon fulfillment fees. So let's say if you wish to do FBA, there are two categories or two types of fees you have to take note of. So firstly, it will be the fulfillment fee, which is the fee per unit that Amazon helps you pick, pack, and ship your order, including customer service and all the returns and exchanges that they do for you. So it differs depending on the dimension of your product and also your shipping weight. And also in terms of storage costs, this is the second part of the fulfillment fees. So you'll be charged based on per cubic foot. So it's the volume of your product. Yeah. So if it's oversized, naturally, you will probably have to pay more because it's payable and billable based on like cubic foot. You have registered your brand in Singapore. Do I need to register it again? Can you further clarify on whether you have enrolled your SG trademark in like Amazon Brand Registry? Have you already enrolled into Brand Registry with your SG trademark? Yeah, for Tom, it seems like you are having some difficulties with your FBA shipment. I will highly recommend you to reach out to your account manager and screenshot the error message you're facing so that we'll be able to revert back to you like the correct path forward. Yeah. What is the ideal fulfillment method for fine jewelry products? So I think this is up to you. There's no ideal fulfillment method, but we have sellers who are, let's say, are more risk adverse. They will choose to fulfill it themselves because it's very costly, right? But there are sellers that don't want to do the heavy lifting or last mile, and they will still do FBA. Yeah. So this is really up to like your business needs. Yeah. Let me see some of the questions in the chat box. Yeah, I believe I've answered most of the question. If I missed anything, feel free to just drop them down in the Q&A or chat box so that I can answer. Yeah. There any other questions from anybody here? Meanwhile, let me share the screen again. Okay, so if you guys don't have any other question, please help us to do a survey. It's just a 2-question short survey that tell us how we can improve this or whether you like this session and basically how we can improve. Also, if you haven't already followed us on Facebook, please follow us to receive tips and advices. There are also invitations to seller roundtables and many other Amazon events, which you can probably learn from. Lastly, if you haven't already joined our Telegram seller community chat, you can feel free to jot down your details via the form over here. Then we will add you in. Yeah. And also another thing to note, I just want to let you guys know that the Prime Day fulfillment cutoff date is 20th June. Yeah, 20th June. So let's say if you wish to participate in Prime Day, you will need to make sure that your inventory is being shipped and checked in to fulfillment center, US fulfillment center by 20th June this year. Yeah. So if you haven't already sourced for your product or started listing, I would highly recommend you to start doing soon. If you have any question, just ask the account manager. Yeah, for what is the return rate for Amazon sellers? Are you referring to the product return rate? Because this really varies depending on every seller. Yes, Prime Day in the United States, correct. The Prime Day, if you want to participate in Prime Day, or let's say if most of you, okay, if most of you don't know what Prime Day is, it's actually one of our biggest event for Amazon.com. Prime Day is an event exclusively available to our Prime members, and we have over 150 million Prime members in the United States. So they'll be able to access a wide variety of like discounts available on Amazon.com within that 2 days. Yeah. So if you wish to participate in Prime Day, you'll need to send in your inventory by 20th June. Unfortunately, I really don't have the product return rate specifically even for fine jewelry items. Yeah. We don't have that data. But however, let's say if you are really concerned on whether your products will be returned, so one tip I will usually advise seller is that to reduce return rates, I will recommend to seller to make your product listing page as informed as possible, which means you need to have 6 images minimally, have 5 bullet points explaining to your buyers or trying to convince them on like what type of product it is, why you should get it. So as much as possible, just put in more information on your product in the product listing page so that customers will be able to make a more informed purchase decision, and this will help to reduce your return rate. Yeah. Am I still a new seller qualified for brand registry if you have previously listed one product but have 0 units? Maybe you can share with me your email address so that we can check for you. But likely if you listed one product with 0 units, you should still be a new seller because you haven't launched. Yeah. Okay, let me quickly check for you. Meanwhile, if there are any other question that we did not or weren't able to like answer you correctly, please feel free to drop down any follow-up questions. For Tom, I noticed that you are a new seller because you have not launched. Oh, and actually I'm your account manager. So let me just drop my email down in the chat box. Just feel free to email me regarding any questions that you have. Yeah. Okay, for Jason, if you're unsure of who's your account manager, please drop them down here, your email address for Amazon Seller Central, and we'll help you check. Yeah. There is a new seller boost. Honestly, I don't really have the exact date. However, let me show you this page. MSI. Okay, so we have this thing called the perfect launch. So typically, Amazon will advise sellers to adopt as many tools as we have recommended over here within the first 90 days. So I will assume that the new seller boost will probably be during the first 90 days. I will share this link with you so that you can have a look as well. The product listing I created recently flagged as active. Yes, if it's active, it is live. However, do make sure that there is one available unit for sale, or if you have already created your FBA shipment so that you can start selling. Yeah, but it is live on Amazon platform. For those that have sent in your email, just give me a while. I'll help you check on that now. For Jason, your account manager is Rin. So Rin, maybe you can drop down your email address so that Jason can reach out to you. For the next person, let me check. Hebe Diamonds. For Hebe Diamonds, your account manager is Rin as well. Do reach out to her. Is one carton weighted at 20 kg or below considered as a small carton category? So maybe you can explain the purpose of this question as well, because one carton or maybe one box has different sizes, so has different weights as well. Are you referring to like the size of the box that is allowed to be sent into FBA? So that I can better advise you or have more context on your question. We do have this shipping and routing requirements for all your boxes. So let me send it to you so it might be relevant to your question. Are there any other questions that I have missed? Feel free to ask it here so that I can help you resolve. Otherwise, please help us to do the survey. We have this session on a weekly basis, but it's first come, first serve. So do sign up if you wish to attend for subsequent weeks. Yes, okay, Karen, let me double check for you. But I think should be me because I see that the email is quite familiar. Let me check. Yes, please reach out to me. I'm your account manager. Warning label. Okay, so some of you might be concerned on like the preparation stage for your FBA orders. So in this toolkit wise, there is this packaging and prep requirements and shipping and routing requirements. Do click into that to see the individual guidance depending on what kind of products you wish to send in and all the warning labels you need to add. Yeah. Yeah, for Furious, if I'm your account manager, yeah, please drop me an email if you have any question. Yeah, please drop me an email. Let me write down my email as well. For those of you who don't know who's your account manager, please look out for emails from us in your spam box or your inbox, which stays like Amazon account management support, respond in 3 days. So after you reply to that, we'll actively reach out to you. Yeah. Are there any other questions? Please feel free to ask. Okay. Yeah, for Tom, I see that you have a few questions. Just feel free to reach out to me. Yeah, this is a weekly Ask Me Anything session. So myself and Rin will take turns to answer all your questions, all the questions that you have on a weekly basis due to popular demand. So if you are keen to attend the next one, do sign up for the next session, as we have limited capacity per session to make this a efficient or productive one. How to sign up? Maybe Jess, you can help to send the registration link for our AMA session. Yeah. Any other questions? Anything that requires escalation or technical difficulties, or let's say seller support have not given you the answer that you want, I will highly recommend you to email to the account managers, which is either myself or Rin, with the issue you are facing, the case ID that you have raised with seller support, and we'll see what we can do on our end. Yeah. I believe Jess have also dropped down the registration link in the chat box, so feel free to register if you wish to attend for the subsequent weeks. Meanwhile, please help us to do the survey if you haven't already done so. Yeah, it is you can register for multiple sessions, but maybe don't apply for too many, so we give chance to other new sellers as well. I will still highly recommend you to just email your account manager, because we do respond quite fast via email too. Go through shipping from the start. Okay, I can just briefly go through this FBA toolkit, which is over here. So how you can get started with FBA? Basically, you need to have a Amazon selling account. You need to have already created your product listing. So after you have created your product listing, you can proceed to create your shipment plan. So how you can create your shipment plan is under, let me just open it, under inventory, then under manage FBA shipment. Then when you click into that, there's a link for you to send to Amazon. So after that, there's a 3-step process where you can indicate how many units you wish to send in. After that, that's where you can print your box label. Then you can start preparing your products according to the guidelines over here, as well as, let's say, your cartons. Then after that, you need to print your Amazon shipping labels and start reaching out to existing logistic provider, which can be the typical one like FedEx, UPS, Aeromax, or those that are under service provider network, for them to pick up the stocks from your warehouse to send to the fulfillment center. Yeah. And also, once your shipping plan has been created, Seller Central will automatically tell you which fulfillment center you need to send to. So it will also be reflected once you create your shipment plan. Yeah. So after you create your shipment plan, you liaise with your logistic provider to send in your inventory to the fulfillment center. Once it reaches the warehouse, it will check in. So our logistic warehouse people will actually help you scan in, do reconciliation of your stocks, and your available inventory for sale will then appear on your listing and people can start buying. Yeah. So essentially, I think this answers pretty much everything over here, and the resources are over here, which will be sent in the follow-up email. So if you have any more further in-depth question, you can just reach out to account manager. Can merchants ship directly to customer who order in Amazon? Sure, you can do that. Yeah. You can fulfill the orders by yourself. So you'll need to pick, pack, and ship by your own and send it to the customer. So if there are any like customer service or like message from customers, you need to answer them within a set period. Otherwise, you'll affect your account health. If let's say there are any returns or exchanges, you'll need to provide them with a postage as well as a return address for them to send it back to you. Yeah. So actually, it's a lot of like manual work. So being on FBA essentially is like having a logistic headcount and a customer service headcount based in US, managing everything for you. So most of our seller actually, if they wish to sell into Amazon.com, typically they will just go on FBA instead of fulfilling by themselves. Yeah, so this file and the step-by-step process will be sent to you via the follow-up email. So don't worry if you missed it or anything. Yeah, we'll send it to you via follow-up email. Is there an option to serve only paid orders? All the orders are paid. So they need to make payment before they'll send the order in to you for you to fulfill. Yeah. Any other questions from anyone here? I think we have answered quite a lot today. Any other questions? Otherwise, please help us to fill up the survey before you leave. And maybe we'll just wait for like a minute or two. Yeah. Yes, please help to fill the shop survey to appreciate my presence today. Just kidding. But anyway, if there are no other questions, maybe we'll just end this session in about a minute or two. Yeah. Okay, I think there are no other questions already. So just reach out to the account manager and we will get back to you. So thank you all for attending today. So see you next week if you have registered for next week's session, and Rin will be there to answer your questions. Yeah. Thank you so much for attending, guys. Thank you. Thank you.